My undergraduate degree is in business.
Okay.
The reason for that was because I'm the first person in my family to go to college. My mom had a 7th grade education. My dad has about a 5th or 6th grade education. And when we got to this country, my parents wanted me to do something practical so that I would be able to take care of myself and take care of my wife and my family. So business seemed to be the most practical thing of all. All the while I kept thinking about that what I really wanted to do was to be a teacher. I talked to my wife and I said, look, if I'm going to teach, I'd like to see if I could get a PhD after my last name. And my doctorate is actually in history of the American West and Mexican American history. But there was a professor at Utah, and his name's Larry Gerlach, who did a lot of stuff on sports history. And I remember walking into his office one day and saying, how in heaven's name do you get by teaching teaching sports history? I met a guy here, his name was Jim Harper, Dr. Jim Harper. Jim Harper and another history professor, Dr. Joe King, were two of the earliest people in this country to teach a history class on the history of baseball. And they were both really good to me. They sort of encouraged me. One of the things that I noticed was that every time that I talked to folks about some of the community organizations in Utah and in other places, they always seem to have a sports component. So eventually even I was able to put 2 and 2 together and sort of start combining those things, and that's what I started doing here. There's all sorts of different types of histories that you can pursue. I just happen to think that sports speaks to a lot of the same issues, race, class, gender, the mantra that historians have, but it's an effective way to present it to students, those important topics, with them, I think, being a lot more receptive. People are passionate about sports. It really says something to them. Just walk around this campus, you're going to see an overwhelming majority of the students walking around campus have some sort of tech paraphernalia or some other school's paraphernalia that's sports related. It's a very nice way to get students to think about these things.